Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a great Friday afternoon. The weather is terrific outside, just terrific outside. I saw a lot of residents just kind of out and enjoying some of the weather, and wouldn't blame them if they decided to skip as the river churns today.
I know.
So, because I can understand that. So, just a shout out to Cindy and to Ken and to Holly yesterday. I thought the program yesterday was very informative and quite helpful, honestly, as people are dealing with this. This is a big change for all of us, as we know.
It is.
And, you know, having some tools kind of that we can keep in our back pocket to help us as we go through this time is extremely important. So,
Absolutely.
you know, just a big thank you to the three of them yesterday. I know for me personally, it was very good to be able to hear that, and I really appreciated what they brought to us yesterday. So.
Yes.
So we have special guests with us today. This is Kat Banks. I think most of you might know Kat, but in case you don't, she is our healthcare administrator and working over in our healthcare center, and she runs the operation over there. And so, and she's doing a great job. She just celebrated a year with us not too long ago.
Amazing.
Yes.
And she said that this has been the toughest year she's ever had in her life, I think. But I will tell you, just from Lisa and my perspective, you know, what a godsend it is to have Kat here. And she's working really well with Tony Chapman, our director of nursing, and our team over there. And Kat, I'm not just saying this. I really think that we have probably the best healthcare team that we have ever had assembled right now underneath you.
I agree.
And I just think it's great. And we haven't turned over our hourglass yet, Lisa.
Oh, gosh.
We need to do that.
Okay, Kat, I need your help with this.
Okay.
So we're going to turn forward.
We're going to turn forward.
1, 2, 3.
All right, let's see if you can do it. Up. There you go. You got it. Good job.
Teamwork.
Okay. So far we haven't run out of time. We've been done.
That's right. So
We've
if
done
we
well.
ever get to we're out of time, the salt's gone, we're out of here.
Yeah, we're out of here.
Okay.
Wherever we are,
Sign
we'll
right
stop
there.
at that
We're
point.
out of here.
Just so you know, Kat.
Okay.
So, Kat, we'll come back to you.
Okay,
But Lisa, I think we usually start out well. First of all, our photo of the day, right?
Yes, that was Frances Smith and Barb Gustafson. They were playing soccer in the hallway.
Playing soccer in the hallway.
Yes. They maintained their social distance, and they also were getting exercise.
Yeah, but
Very
my
creative.
question is, how many holes did they put in the wall?
Oh, my gosh. I don't know. I haven't looked on their hall yet.
Okay, well, I'm not sure I want to look
I
at
don't
this point.
think
So,
so.
okay.
Okay.
You know, when we start throwing footballs and playing baseball in the hallways, I think we're going to be in real trouble at that point.
That's
so.
true. Also, something else wanted to announce today. We had the National Walking Challenge this week, and the
Oh.
winner was Scott Lottie.
Scott Lottie, National
So-
Walking Day champion.
So
wow.
his one-day total was 26,022 steps.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
26,000.
That's awesome.
How many miles is that?
Let's see. It's about, for me, it's about 2,000 steps per mile. So that's for him, that would probably be about 13 or 14 miles would be my guess.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is.
Now, was he walking to the grocery store when he did this?
I don't know. Well, Tom,
I hope not, Scott.
I
I
hope
hope you
not.
weren't walking to the grocery
I
store.
mean, we're telling people not to leave the campus for
know, but,
groceries.
you know-
I don't think he would do that.
But, you know, if you're walking, we can't really stop you that way because we can't find you, you know, if you're walking around the campus that way. So, anyway, I don't know.
Okay, so he's the lucky winner of a $25
Well,
gift card.
congratulations, Scott.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay, the trivia question for today is from John Hoyt, and we all know he gives us good trivia questions.
Boy,
so
I'll say. I never
here we
get
go. Which president had a pet mockingbird he sometimes carried on his shoulder?
Ah,
Which president had a pet mockingbird he sometimes carried on his shoulder? So I'm going to have you call here. Get your phone ready.
and we know the answer is not Darth Vader, right?
It's not Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. I don't
No,
think Darth
it's
Vader was the
not.
president anyway, so that's probably not going to fit.
You're right. And I think we'll have an answer just like this. I think it'll
Okay.
be quick. Okay. Get your phones ready. 336-389-4103. The phone line is open. Go,
Go.
go, go.
389-4103.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll see. What is the winner going to get today, Lisa?
The winner is going to get a special prize today.
Yes.
We've never done this before.
Right?
Okay. You will get a handmade mask by Kirsten Smith.
Yes.
And I don't want to take it out of this container because it's ready to go.
Right.
right.
So I don't want to get my germs on it, okay?
Right.
But to show you what it looks like, Tom has one sitting on his desk there. And this one is of Mickey Mouse. So
One of my
that's a
favorites.
pretty cool prize.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, something different today.
Absolutely.
We usually do a lot of wine here, but we do something
do.
a little different.
We didn't want to wine today.
Yeah,
We're avoiding whining on Friday.
Maybe we should do some cheese
No wine.
sometimes
No
to go
wine.
with that. Maybe we should do some cheese to go with that wine
Maybe
sometime. What do you think?
next week, wine and cheese.
A little wine and
and
cheese. Right. Okay.
Oh, well, I know the phone's ringing because they're on the phone right now. So I
Okay.
bet we're going to get a winner here soon.
All right. Well, while that's going on, why don't I kind of catch us up a little bit about coronavirus today? So just a few things to talk about. The typical update today, just giving you numbers. We had, this is through the Department of Health and Human Services for North Carolina update. North Carolina is at 2,093 cases. Unfortunately, we've had 19 deaths in the state. That is, though, 31,598 total completed cases. So we had 2,093 out of 31,598. And I apologize, I didn't do the math on that, but I'm guessing that's still around that 6-7% mark, if my math is right. And we currently have 259 of the folks that are positive that are in the hospital system at this point. In case you're wondering about locally what the numbers are, unfortunately Mecklenburg leads the state with number of cases. There's 564 in Mecklenburg. In Wake, there's 258. In Durham, there's 159. These are the counties, of course. And around us here in Guilford, we're at 79, and Forsyth is at 63 today. So one of the things I wanted to just kind of, again, bring to your attention, I really thought we were making some progress. And I'm kidding a little bit about going out to the grocery store today earlier, but, we're still having a little bit of issue with this, folks. We've been kind of, the governor's mandate went into effect on Monday about staying at home, and on Tuesday, we had 42 resident trips off the campus. About half of those, 20 of those, were what I consider to be unnecessary trips. These are trips going to the grocery stores or going to picking up medications. And these are things we can do for you without you having to go off the campus. So that was 20 out of 42 on Tuesday. And then yesterday I thought, we're starting to make some progress because the day before yesterday, April 1st, we only had 24 outside folks going out, which was good. And only about half of those were unnecessary. Again, about 12 of those. But then I don't know what happened yesterday. We had 57 folks go off campus yesterday. And 23 of those were what I consider to be kind of unnecessary trips. So, folks, we know that we have got community spread around us. One of the things that I want to talk to Kat about today is, we are aware now that there are 4 cases in Guilford County at different nursing homes right now.
That's correct.
And we don't know anything much about the 4 cases. We know that 2 were in one community, and then there was, I think, 2 other communities that have a case.
Right.
And, the one that we know a little bit about where it had 2 cases, one of the people that tested positive has since recovered and has got a clean bill of health, which is great.
That is good.
But, I think one of the things that we're going to talk to Kat about here in a little bit, and Kat, we'll get to this in a second, is just, what happens if we get a case here? And so we'll kind of talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But, again, I think you're seeing we're continuing to try and make efforts here to minimize risk. And so, having less residents going out of the campus, I can't legally stop you. At some point, I'm probably going to ask you to start quarantining if you're going out to places that, we think you shouldn't be going to. Quite honestly, there's no reason for somebody to go in the grocery store now. We can help you with grocery store. Whitney and Jill and team are ready to help serve you if you need help with getting groceries. And so let them help you. Please don't go out because you're just having a chance of bringing that back here. So, at some point, and I'm not there yet, but I'm getting awful close. If our numbers keep going like this, we're going to just tell you that you're going to have to come back and quarantine. So if you go out to the grocery store, you're going to have to quarantine for 14 days in your home before you can be out on campus again. So please don't force us into this. Please help us with this, okay? Okay, so I think I've put that enough emphasis on that at this point. So Lisa, I think we have a new Back to Basics box for next week, right?
We do. So the Back to the Basic box went over great this week. We had tons of orders, which was super. So every Friday they're going to be changing up. That's their goal, is on Fridays to change up what's in that box with a few of the items. So this week I think they have 4 changes. Let's see. The Angus burger last week has been changed now to pork tenderloin. So there'll be 2 pork tenderloins in the box this week instead of the Angus burger. Instead of strawberries, there will be a cantaloupe. Instead of the regular carrots, there'll be the mini carrots. I like the mini ones a lot better than the big carrots. So
Yes.
I like that change. And then romaine lettuce instead of the wrapped lettuce. So I know, Tom, you like romaine.
I love romaine
Yes.
lettuce. I love it.
So that's the box of the week. It's going on Care Merch today, so you'll see what that is. Go ahead, place your orders by 11 o'clock on Monday. That way you can get the new box for next week. Still, it's an amazing box. So try it out and see how that goes for y'all.
Yeah. Lisa, there's a couple more things, I think, from the coronavirus for here at River Landing that we need to talk about for a couple seconds. And one is we put out the notice that outside residents, we're trying to compartmentalize you and keep you out of this building here that we're in. That's not because we don't love you or like you. It's just really, truly to keep you safe out there and keep the residents here safe that are in here. And so we are going to start, I've asked Homer, we're going to start really policing residents being in the main building. If you're coming in because you need to use the library or you need to use the bank, that's fine. If you got to do something at the front desk, that's fine. But stay in that area, come in the front entrance and go back out the front entrance, and please do not go down the hallways. If you need to go into the clinic, we understand that. Then please come around to the back of the building and come in the entrance in the back of the building and go to the clinic and then go back out the same entrance that you came into. We do not want outside residents roaming the halls. That defeats the purpose of compartmentalization. And so we're asking you very nicely to please do not do that. We've got it now where your outside mail and all the things that we need to take care of you, the outside folks, are up at the clubhouse now. So please do not come into the building. We are asking very nicely to do that. And I don't want Homer's security team to start getting beaten up on you. So please do that. And then we are going to be instituting something probably starting Monday, maybe Tuesday at the latest. And this is just another precautionary measure that we're going to do for residents. I think it makes sense. And this is just something I've been thinking about, and that is we are going to start temperature checking all residents as they're picking up their meals. So as you're going through the clubhouse area or as you're coming through the pickup area down here in the main building, we are going to take that extra 2 seconds to do a quick temp check on you. Just like we do for those that have left the campus and come back. We're temp checking you there. We're not going to ask you the questions here. We're just going to do a quick temp check. And why are we doing that? Well, the reason to do that is you may not even know that you're running a low-grade fever. And so if we can help you find out that you're running a low-grade fever and we can get you to get back into your home without coming into contact with a lot of other people, again, trying to minimize spread, trying to do the best we can to try and keep you safe. And that is the goal of this. Again, I promise you, we're not trying to make your lives hard. We're trying to help you and keep this stupid virus out of here. So I think this is a prudent step that we need to be doing. We've got a couple new temperature probe checks that we can do that with. We've been waiting for those to come in, and now that we've got those, we're going to go ahead and do that starting on Monday. I think we're just going to go ahead and bite the bullet and do it on Monday. So again, if you're picking up food, we're just going to quickly do that probe. And for those of you that haven't had it done before, it's just a little probe. They don't actually touch your forehead, but they come within a couple inches of your forehead. And it just does a quick little reading of what your temperature is. And that way we can help you help us keep the community safe. So I think it's a good thing.
It is.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
Okay, Lisa, we got questions today,
Yes,
right?
we do. Okay. My tax returns are ready. Can I go pick them up?
Uh-oh.
I've had a lot of people ask this, so I know it's tax season time. Even though we've had extensions, there's a lot of people's taxes that are ready for pickup.
So I think the answer to that is if you're getting a refund, go pick them up. If you have to pay, just tell your tax accountant you can't get them, right? Does that work? I don't know. Does
I
that
don't
work?
know. I don't like that idea.
Well, it probably doesn't work. So I think the answer to this, if you need to go pick up your tax return because your tax accountant won't bring it here, then you need to find a way for you to not to go into their office. If you can let them know that you're coming and you're going to be there in 5 minutes, and they can hand it to you through your window of your car, that's fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of folks tell me that they have called their tax preparer people, and they've said, just call me when you're on the way. When you're in the parking lot, call again, and we'll run it out to you. So I would ask your tax people, what can you do to help me with this?
Yeah.
People are very aware of this, and they are willing to work with you.
Yeah.
So I would do that. Otherwise, if your tax preparer wants to drop it off here at the clubhouse, we will run it to you from here.
Absolutely.
So either way you want to do that, but just ask. I found that you just need to ask if there's ways to have exceptions and things like that. That's how everybody's operating right now. People are changing as we go.
Yep.
So if you ever have a question with it, just ask somebody.
All right. What's
Okay,
the
next
question?
one. Have you seen, well, we've kind of already addressed this.
We did
Tom.
that one. I already jumped into that one.
Yep. So we'll skip that one. Someone asked if they've seen a reduction in the campus traffic. So.
Yeah, and I thought we were doing good there until yesterday.
We had a spike there.
Yeah, we
so.
did. We did.
How often do we need to start our cars and keep them in working order, and how do we exercise them? We heard on the
Yes.
show the other day,
Yes.
exercise your car.
Exercise them.
Yes.
Yes. So for those of you that have trampolines, the best thing you can do, no, I'm teasing, obviously. So, this is a good question, and I think most auto mechanics would tell you that if you're not using your vehicle, which a lot of us are not using vehicles.
Right,
I mean, I've got vehicles at home that have been sitting there for weeks now, and so what I do, and I think what most mechanics will tell you to do, is run your vehicle.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily leave your driveway completely for the whole time that you're exercising your vehicles. I've actually will let my car run for a while in the driveway, and then I might take it on a quick little circuit around, like here I would say you just take a circuit around the campus here just to kind of get the tires, the air pressure built up in the tires so the tires don't dry rot, keep the battery charged up that way. It makes for your car be better. So I think the suggestion is at least once a week that you go out and you're starting up your car and you're exercising it a little bit to kind of keep it going. And that's what we've been hearing.
Okay.
About a 10 to 15 minute window worth of time there.
Okay, this is a big one. We've been asked since our last show, Tom. You mentioned on the show this week that there may be an opportunity to borrow a vacuum from the front desk.
Oh boy, this is a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So Lisa, tell them what the good news is.
Okay. So after the show today, Homer's
Yes.
cringing right now. So just so everybody knows, he's watching me.
He was
and he's
cringing after our last show, I think.
He was. And people actually went after our last show, Tom, even
Yeah.
though we said it wasn't ready yet.
Yeah.
But now it really is ready. So
What's the procedure, Lisa?
okay. So the procedure is the front desk has 2 vacuums.
Okay. This is
Then-
for the folks inside.
Folks inside. Now, we don't have outside set up yet. That will be working Monday.
That will work Monday.
Okay.
But today,
So-
for the inside folks, we have it working.
Today, for the inside
Monday.
folks,
Okay.
it's working right now.
Okay.
So if you want to borrow a vacuum to go vacuum your apartment, you come down to the front desk, or if you want to call first, that might be better. Otherwise, we might have 10 plus people coming in. We can't have 10 plus people anywhere. So call down to the front desk and say, is the vacuum available? I'm coming down to get it. Okay? So when you come, they're going to give you the vacuum. It's already been sanitized. You're going to take it to your apartment, do your vacuuming, and bring it back to us. It's very lightweight. I think it's less than 5 pounds. So it's very easy to push, very lightweight.
Not like your typical vacuum.
It is not your typical vacuum. And it's cordless,
Oh, cordless.
Oh,
Great.
which that's another reason it's lighter, but it'll be perfect for apartments. So when you come down, that's the process you're going to go through. When you bring the vacuum back, we're going to take it from you and sanitize it.
Put it back
so
on the
that way
charger.
we'll have it ready for the next time.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
and we want you to keep your visits with the vacuum under an hour. I think you can do your apartment in a lot less time than that. We have a lot of folks that are going to be wanting to use this vacuum, so just be conscious of that. That as soon as you get it done, bring it on back, and we'll have a sheet where we know who has the vacuum, and we'll give you a friendly reminder if you've had the vacuum a little longer than you need it.
Right.
So.
And Lisa, how many vacuums are we going to have for residents to be able to?
2 vacuums.
We have 2 vacuums.
2 vacuums.
Okay.
Yep. So that's a few vacuums to go around. So.
Yeah.
So let's just share, and but please do not share with your neighbor. The whole purpose of it is to keep it from one apartment. You bring it back, we sanitize it.
Yeah, if you take it across the hall to your neighbor, that really
It's kind of
defeats the
defeating
purpose.
what we're doing here. It just kind of goes from apartment to apartment that way. So please bring it back, let us sanitize it, and then it can go right back out again.
Absolutely.
And outside will work the same, except it'll be through the clubhouse. So we're still working out the process out there. We are trying to figure out if there's a way we can deliver it to you, since it's harder outside. Instead of rolling it through a hallway, you're having to load it in your car, then you're having to get unloaded again once you get to your home, load it back up again. So we're working with our delivery folks to see if we can offer that service, as we'll bring the vacuum to you, and then we'll come pick it up and sanitize it in between visits.
So the hope is by Monday we'll have a
Yes.
procedure in place for the outside residents,
Absolutely.
but the inside residents can start that today.
Inside can start it today, and we'll be ready for outside on Monday.
Okay, good. All right. Well, that's great.
Yeah, it's exciting.
That's good.
That's good.
Who thought a vacuum would be exciting?
I
But
don't
it,
know.
It is. It's the little things.
The small
So,
things, that's it.
absolutely. Okay. How is the housekeeping clean team doing?
Oh, yes. That's a good question. So our 4 volunteers are staying in the staycation and in the guest suite right now. They moved in yesterday. We did end up going ahead and COVID-19 testing them, and we've sent that out as of last evening. We sent that out to the lab. Don't know how fast we'll get those results back, but as soon as we do, then we're going to have Joe Rojas come on and talk to us a little bit about what these 2 teams are going to be doing in the outside cottages and the apartments. And so remember, it's 4 people, so we're going to have 2 teams of 2, because they apparently, from what I'm hearing from Joe, they work better as a team than they do individually.
Right.
They can be faster and more efficient if they work together. So we'll have a modified housekeeping schedule, and so we're actually looking forward to that. I think that's going to be really good, and so we'll have more about that next week, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, last one. Will residents need to wear masks?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I think what it's going to end up being is residents will have a choice as to whether or not they want to wear a mask or not. It'll be totally up to them. Would we recommend it? Yes. If they're out in a social setting of some sort, or even have a chance of being in a social setting, especially for our apartment residents who are going to be walking halls,
Right.
I think it's a good idea. So probably the next question after that is, well, how do I get a mask, right? So the great thing is, we've mentioned this now for a while, but Cindy's got a group of about a dozen, I think, or so sewing people that are really good at sewing. I guess I was trying to figure out how to use an adjective to work with that, but sewing connoisseurs, I don't know what I was going to try to say there, but
I think Kat had the word seamstress.
seamstress, yes, thank you. That's a much better word.
Yep.
Much better word than anything I was coming up with, apparently. But, these seamstresses are going to have, hopefully by the middle of next week, I'm hoping that we'll have a nice supply of masks that we can start giving out to residents, and we can do it. We can probably start giving them out to you up at the clubhouse when you're getting your food there, or down here. We might either have it at the front desk, or we might have it when you're picking up food, something like that. We'll come up with a process, but please don't ask for them now.
Right.
We do not have them yet, but I really do think that by the middle of next week, maybe Monday's show, we can talk a little about, see where we
where we're
are.
at. Sure.
And we might have a supply at that point that we can start handing them out. So we'll see how that goes.
It's
But
just another barrier.
it is.
Gives you
It
another
is.
barrier.
It's
to
another
protect.
barrier.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we're going to have to do a class on wearing masks, because we've had to do that with our staff.
We
That's
have.
right.
Yes.
Our staff have not used to wearing masks, and
No.
we are still doing some training with our staff about making sure that it covers your nose and, covers your mouth, because what you're trying to do is really kind of cover your extremities there, where any chance where any kind of the air droplets can get in, and that's what you're trying to filter out. So, I just feel like that it makes sense to me that anybody and everybody should be wearing masks at this point. If that helps even a little bit to keep us safe here, then why shouldn't we be doing it? So you all know that masks are in short supply. Masks have not been easy to come by in this country, really, and in this world. If you're watching any of the news at all, you're realizing that the PPE equipment is hard to come by. But we've been fortunate here a little bit. We've got a little bit of a supply of masks for our staff that we're keeping for our staff so that because that, again, remember, that's probably the biggest risk we have now is staff giving it to residents. So I'm hoping you're seeing every time you're walking anywhere that you see staff members out in a corridor or out somewhere, they're wearing their masks. And so we're going to continue to kind of push that for staff. And so why not for the residents as well?
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was the last question, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Kat, I think we're going to turn to you now a little bit. Why don't you start us out? We can get into our plan for, what happens if we have a case here in a minute or two. But why don't you just give us a quick little update? I think some of the questions we've had before have been, how's things been going over in the healthcare
How
center?
are my friends over in healthcare?
Right.
Those
You know what?
things.
I'm just as anxious to know because I don't go over there anymore. So, because we're compartmentalizing our staff. So why don't you talk a little bit about what's going on?
I'll be glad to. We have quite a bit going on. This week we're doing what we call Spirit Week, but just being with our family over there, we all are family.
Yeah.
So we are doing everything we can to invite social activities. We're doing things like gardening. We did that on a beautiful day over there in St. Andrews because now's a great time to start planting.
Sure.
Yes.
So we started doing some tomato plants. But we're doing things like we had bicycling. When we went outside, one was nice. We had some bikes out. And, of course, keeping with the 6 feet distancing and all of that. But definitely getting out, getting some of that vitamin D. But we're having popsicle events. Today, I had to change clothes, actually, today.
You did?
Because I had on pajamas because today is pajama day. And so, of course, the staff and the residents, we're home. We're relaxing in the midst of all of this. We're still trying to find ways just to be together. And so that was one thing we said. We're going to have a pajama day, and we're just going to all just kind of.
I wish we had known. We could all wear pajamas today.
Right,
so.
Yes.
But, in our activities in regards to our enrichment coordinator, Tracy and the team and the entire staff coming up with different things. We also are doing things like chair exercise. So while we do have to have our meals pretty much in our, in our homes or whatever, we're doing different things like maybe just putting a dining table in the middle of the hall and just having 1 or 2 residents there together because they're so accustomed to coming together.
Yeah, that social aspect. Yeah.
So what can we do to make that happen? So we're just having little daylight dining together.
Super.
And they're enjoying it. We, of course, we can't go without bingo.
Gotta do bingo.
So we got what we call hallway bingo.
Yes.
We have some new callers now.
Uh-oh.
It is extremely good. But we're doing all kinds of things. We're doing sing-alongs, just to give you some other ideas. We do have a program called It's Never Too Late, and we've talked about that before, which is an amazing program that has so many different activities on it, like tic-tac-toe and things like that, Connect 4. But we also have the ability now, we're doing a lot of Skyping.
Yeah.
With our families.
Good.
Because that's one of the things we wanted to make sure that we was incorporating too. The families, we Skype every day, multiple times to multiple families. So they're able to see their loved ones, talk to them. We found out that one of our residents, she's going to be a great-grandmother. And so that was exciting.
Wow.
So this is
That's
her first
great.
son, her first great-grandson. We have hall devotions every day.
Wow.
Robin, and that Ken and all of them are amazing. So Robin does that in regards to just making sure that we're keeping up with our spiritual aspirations of our residents, and they're loving it. So we're just doing a lot of things, and we are so appreciative of all that. The independent residents are, giving us words and encouragement. We've had family come over and visit as well.
Yeah.
As far as just coming to the window saying hello.
Sure.
So
You really see the family starting to come out here.
Right.
I mean, that's really the
Yes.
beauty of a place like this. And
It
just the
really
beauty of our campus. Our residents are just so loving and giving about that. And it's
Absolutely.
hard. It's a hard
It is.
time.
Right.
it is.
But it sounds like the spirits are really well
The
over
spirits
there
are.
in the healthcare center.
They are,
So.
considering everything. Of course, we have the expansion with our new addition, and hopefully you've all seen the beautiful pictures and that are available at this point. So we're excited about that. So we're still keeping that going.
Yeah,
and,
that's great.
Yeah,
That's really great.
pretty exciting.
Well, it's like we said, it's a tough process right now with families not being able to get in there and see their loved ones. So, the connections through the staff, the connections through these, the Skyping and the IN2L and the telephone and whatever ways we are being creative for being able to have families be able to stay in touch with their loved ones during this time. But I think you all know how important it is that we keep visitors out of that healthcare center. Because, we saw what the effects of COVID-19 can be in Washington at the nursing home there, and we do not want that here.
We do not. We do not.
So that probably leads us into a little bit of a discussion, Kat, about, let's, none of us ever really want to sit here and think about it happening here.
No.
But the chances are that we might have a case. I mean, it could happen here, as much as I don't want to think about it or talk about it. And so, we know that we've got a plan in place. And I think today we just want to talk a little bit about high level, kind of what that plan would be, not getting to a ton of detail about it. But, I think, first of all, if it ends up being an independent living resident that were to come down with COVID-19, then depending on their symptoms and what's going on with them, it might be very well that our plan for that person is that they would just stay in their home and they would quarantine in their home. We would deliver meals there. And as long as they are dealing with their symptoms and not having any issues with their symptoms, it's just a matter of helping them kind of get through that time and keeping them quarantined in their home.
That would be the best.
That would be the best, right? And that's what the conventional wisdom is right now for our type of community.
That's right.
And if an independent living resident were to need more assistance in that, then I think a decision has to be made at that point. Do they need to go to the hospital, or is it something that they just need a little extra help more than what they can do at home, and we would need to provide that? Kat, you've got great news about that, right? If they have to stay here.
I do.
So why don't you tell them a little bit about that?
One of the things, of course, in preparation, one of the things we definitely wanted to look at is what could we do here in our home? And when I say that, of course, I'm talking about healthcare end of it. We actually have already secured a section on our Wingfoot household that there are no residents that will be on a specific end unless they were diagnosed with COVID-19. So that would be the place that we would care for those individuals, our family. One of the things that's amazing, too, is that we have staff that is ready and willing. We don't have to worry about, do we have to bring in someone else to care for them? We're here. That's what we are here for, and we are dedicated to serving and taking care of our loved ones. So we have that set up, and we're ready. We have the equipment that's required for that, and if that was needed, that's what we would do.
You told me a little earlier this week, and it really almost, it brought tears to my eyes that you had been approached without even asking.
Yes.
You had several staff members that came up to you and said, if we ever need Wingfoot, this part of Wingfoot, to be able to handle and take care of COVID-19 people, I'm your person. I want to be one of those people that's part of that team. That just is amazing to me. That our staff we have staff members that just came up to you and were wanting and willing to do this. And I think that says a lot about the team that you have over there, that they're willing to do it. And Kat, let me give you credit. The sign we have out front that says "Heroes Work Here" was your inspiration, and I don't know where that inspiration came from.
And it actually came from one of our amazing staff members. As you all know, we're thinking of all of us when we're talking about heroes that work here, and we're so blessed and so grateful. And so in just thinking of how we can truly continue to uplift our staff here, one of our staff members, it was actually Jolie, came up with the idea of the sign for Heroes Work Here.
Yeah.
And so that's
awesome.
And we're getting so many thank yous just for that. But again, like you said, we have staff that just says, I'm here. And to be able to work with amazing individuals like that, you just can't. It does bring tears to your eyes because we know that we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
We're going to deal with.
Yeah, we're in this together. I mean, together we can take care of this.
Yes.
And then, Kat, I probably jumped a little bit here, but just coming back, we talked about the independent living and kind of the process for that, but I think it becomes even simpler in some ways of what happens if it happens to resident over in the healthcare center, that they would just, that once if we had that situation, we would just move that resident, I assume, over into the
correct.
COVID-19 section of the
correct.
Wingfoot, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
So again, that area is designated just for that if we were to be faced with such situation. So at any given time, we will have Wingfoot will be our designated.
And just to be totally clear, I think you all know this. I mean, it ends up now being genius when I think about it. But when we built Wingfoot, this was, that was 2009 that we built it, or we opened it in 2009.
Right.
So it's been open for almost 11 years now. When we built it, the whole idea behind Wingfoot was to be able to have 2 sections of that building that we can compartmentalize. I like that word. I keep saying that a lot.
I know you
that we
can
can
say it, I can't.
compartmentalize. And the whole process there was thought that we would use it for short-term rehab.
Right.
But if we needed, because we were overflowing in permanent residents in healthcare, or if we needed a section for our St. Andrews folks because we just had too many folks that needed memory care, that we can section off that building into 2 different sections and keep them separate. And that's why you have the 2 dining rooms in there and you have the 2 living rooms. It's just for that reason. And so, who would ever thought that we might end up needing it for this response? That was certainly not a forethought, but thank God that we have this, and the genius that went into that. To be honest with you, and I give the credit all to our good Lord about that one. I mean, I think again, this is His campus, this is His community, and as long as we follow His inspirations for us, we don't have anything to worry about here.
Right.
So
that's right.
So now we've got that whole section, that whole what I call now the temporary side of Wingfoot. We've got that whole section available to us to be able to use for COVID-19.
Right. And a designated team member.
And a designated team. So, I honestly, I think we are about the best we could be prepared for this if it were to happen.
Yeah.
But you know what, folks? We need your help. Let's not let it get into this community. Let's do our best. If you get face masks, wear the face masks. Keep your social distancing, and let's keep it out of River Landing.
Yes.
I think we're all in agreement with that.
That's
so,
Absolutely.
Kat, thanks for being on the program today.
Thank you for inviting me. That was really.
And we're going to have some pictures coming out of the healthcare at some point, right?
Yes.
That we were going to talking about doing it today, and I don't think we had a chance to get it all done.
I couldn't get around to it in time. So
But,
Kat had some great pictures I want to share next
So
week.
maybe we could put them on camera merge or something. Maybe some people can see those.
We could, absolutely.
I think that would be great.
That would be great.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Well, thanks, Kat.
You're welcome.
All right, Lisa. I think we have birthdays. Do we have any birthdays today?
Yes, birthdays for the day. None. So we have no birthdays today, but we have 2 special birthdays this weekend. Okay, on Saturday we have Bill Van Wyck,
Oh.
and on Sunday we have David Allen.
Wow. Okay.
So
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's awesome.
Okay, now we're to the trivia question. I need to check my phone. Oh my goodness.
We did not have a winner?
I'm getting a head shake that we have nobody that knew the answer.
Oh.
So I made a deal with John Hoyt,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
He gives me the questions,
Yeah.
and then if no one gets the answer, he gets the prize.
Okay.
So I guess he's going to get this prize. So the question is, which president had a pet mockingbird he sometimes carried on his shoulder?
And what was the answer?
The
Lisa?
answer is Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson.
You know what? We must have a lot of truthful people out there because I probably would have gone to my phone and I would have asked
You'd
Siri.
have Googled
That's
it.
a good
I would have Googled it or asked Siri. So I really appreciate this honesty here.
Yes. It's either that, Lisa, or nobody's watching the show today.
No. Okay, somebody just gave a thumbs up for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep. You did tell them it was so nice out they didn't have to stay.
Yes.
That's probably what happened.
Yes.
Okay. So John Hoyt, you're the winner of the Mickey Mouse map.
Congratulations, John. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And he's a Disney World fan,
He
so
is,
he'll love
he'll
it.
love it. He'll love it.
So, Lisa, I think our joke of the day is really going to be our top 10, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to instead of having a joke
Absolutely.
today, I think we're going to go ahead and just do the top
Yes.
10 because we're already running 40 minutes at this
Right,
point. So
right.
I think we're going to go ahead and finish with this today.
Absolutely.
So I think we had asked you last week. Was it not last week
We
that we
did
asked
last
this?
Friday. We said
said we were trying to come up with a top 10 things about what you would do what are you doing for fun under the stay-at-home order, right? So
Right.
top 10. Are we ready? The top 10 reasons or top 10 things to do when you're under a stay-at-home order. So number 10, call friends and relatives that you haven't talked to in a while.
That's a good one.
That's
And I've heard a lot of folks say that one.
Yeah.
They've connected with people, or I should say reconnected.
yeah.
So that's awesome.
And maybe instead of texting them now, you're actually calling them and talking to them
Exactly.
because you got a little
Yes,
bit more
get a
time,
live
right?
voice.
Yeah, right. That works good. All right, number 9. Go through boxes of old pictures and put them into an album for your children. That's a great
That's
idea.
a great.
That is a great
You know, we all have pictures
Yes.
that we've
Yeah.
taken.
Oh, yes.
They're stuffed in boxes, and we don't do anything with them.
That's
So
true.
perfect time.
Yeah, I think that was a good one. So, number 8. I like this one. Send an unexpected gift to someone from an online store. Now, that's a cool
Ooh,
idea.
That is a very cool
Is
idea.
that kind of like paying it forward, I guess, a little
It
bit?
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
think
Send them some toilet paper.
Yeah.
If you can get it.
We can't go through a show without having to talk about toilet paper, right? I was really trying to keep that out of this show, but
We just can't, Tom.
I know.
We can't help ourselves.
This was a nice one. Number 7, sew masks. We were talking about our seamstresses,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, number 6. Oh, well, we had a little foreshadowing on this one. Play soccer in the hallway, right?
Not sure
That's a
who
fun
sent in
thing to
that one.
do while you're staying at home.
We did some of that.
Okay, now the next one I know has been very popular here.
It has.
And
yes.
that is drink wine. Yes, I think there's been a lot of wine drinking in the last couple of weeks here. There's probably been some other spirits other than just wine, too, that
That's
have been
probably
drunk.
true.
Okay, I don't know about number 4, Lisa, but the number 4 top things to do when you're under a stay-at-home order was get the lint out of your belly button.
Now, the person that sent that, you know who you are.
Yes.
I only had one person send that.
You only had one person said that, right? Okay. All right. Number 3, wash pillowcases that have been horribly soiled from eating lots of chocolate in bed. What do you think?
That's a good one.
Yes.
That wasn't from me. No.
That one. And if you got white sheets, boy, I tell you, getting the dark chocolate out of there might be kind of hard
That
to
would
do.
be hard. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be my hard. All right, number 2 reason to do things to do when you're under a stay-at-home order. Oh, this is a cute one. Make a list and then throw away the list.
Love it. Yes.
All right, we're down to the top reason. The
Okay.
top 10 things to do when you're under a stay-at-home order. The top one. Do you want to know what it is?
Yes.
Yes.
Watch as the river churns. That's the number 1 reason. And that was voted on by one person, and that was me. So
Oh, I love it.
these are awesome. Thank you all so much for participating in this and doing this. And thank you all that send in responses. These were great ones. And actually, we had more than 10
We
really
did.
good
We did.
responses. I'm sorry that we couldn't use all of them, but
Right.
these were great, and we loved it. And, oh, Lisa, there was one last thing.
Yes.
I've had people ask me about what this is on my desk, and I don't know how well you can see this or not, but this is an old Volkswagen Beetle. Obviously it's a small replica of it, and it's red. I don't know if you can see that or not. And so I got this for my son, and when he was in Germany, he found this store that had like 1 million of these things, and they were all different years, different colors. He knew that my first car was a red Volkswagen Beetle, and so he
Oh,
bought this
very
for me.
cool.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was.
that's great.
So I've been keeping that on my desk here as a little memento. But
Awesome.
well, we all hope you all have a great weekend. We thank you for tuning in today. Kat, we thank you again for coming out and
yes,
being our
thank you.
guest. We loved having you.
Enjoyed
We've
it.
got some pretty exciting stuff next week, Lisa.
We do. We do.
Yeah.
We have some special guest appearances. and
Yes. Yeah, I
Some
think
educational things.
I
and it
think
just
maybe just to highlight,
Sure.
Tuesday, I know that we're going to be, in place of our show, we're going to be showing the dating game that we did back from the 15th anniversary.
Right,
So we're going to be
right.
showing that on our in-house channel. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have a couple of special guests. And so if you think I'm foreshadowing, you're right. I'm foreshadowing there a little bit about who our guests might be. And so you might want to tune in, especially if for all of you that hadn't had a chance to see the actual show from the dating game that we did back on our 15th anniversary, which was now 2 years ago. We're going to replay that so you can see that, and you should know all of the characters that were in that at that time. And
So it'd be really important to watch Tuesday to understand
yes,
Wednesday.
otherwise Wednesday, if you haven't watched Tuesday, it won't make a whole lot of sense to you probably, at least as far as our special guests go. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
And then we've got some other things coming up, not next week, but the week after that. We're going to have Franco Bloom come out and do a construction update. I think it's on that Tuesday as well. And we got some other special guests that we're going to have lined up as well. So, well, ta-ta for now, and you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday. Love you all.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.